Rise and crime, everybody. I'm Rachel Souza.
And I'm Michelle Chan.
And we need to stop forgetting to introduce ourselves.
What do you mean we only forgot once?
Yeah, but... Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, do you know, it slipped my mind until I was saying the words rise and crime.
This is the 4th episode.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And let me tell you. Is it a crazy one? You tell me, actually.
I feel like it's pretty bad.
Okay. That's great. Got any stories from this week? Just like life stories?
I can't think of anything, can you?
Yes, well, one of our listeners, shout out Jessie, she texted me and she was like, I was listening to your podcast when I was on the GO train, and just as you guys were talking about, or just as you were talking about Bruce MacArthur at Agincourt Mall, she pulled right past Agincourt Station, and she was like, that's so scary. And that just makes me love our podcast even more because it's so hometown and so like Canadian that literally you can relate while listening to it.
That was really scary.
Yeah, something just like randomly made a noise in Michelle's room.
That was my water bottle. It kind of like expanded and it sounded like someone was knocking on the door.
Love that. Okay, so I've got the small case today. And it's really short, but I think it's really silly, so I'm going to tell it. So in 2016, the Royal Canadian Mint, which is located in Ottawa, fired their employee named Weston Lawrence after they discovered 2 kilograms of gold missing from the mint. So it was found out that throughout 2014 and 2015, Weston Lawrence had stole 22 gold pucks worth over $190,000 and sold them on the gold market.
Whoa.
Now,
like altogether? Worth
yes.
that much? Whoa.
So now you're probably thinking, you work at the mint, right? There's got to be high security there. They have all the coins and the gold and the metals. So how would he get through that metal detector? Well, it was said that he would set off the main metal detector, but he would get by like the handheld one. You know when you go to the airport and they like put a handheld metal detector? Because he would smuggle things out by putting them up his butt.
Okay.
So this man...
Wait, but wouldn't it still... Oh, I guess it's just the handheld one.
Yeah, this man smuggled gold out of the mint by putting it up his butt. Not a golden plan, but...
That's so funny.
That's all just butt.
But.
Bummer, right?
But nothing. But gold.
Are you not getting the puns?
I do get the puns.
Okay. They're just bad?
They're okay.
I agree. Yeah, he didn't get away with it, obviously. They found out eventually.
How'd they find out?
I think he set off the handheld one, so they had to check him.
Oh.
And they also were doing surveillance on him because they thought it was him.
Did they watch him put it up his butt?
No, but they found him going into gold pawn shops and stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's the small case coming from Ottawa in 2016. But yeah, I just thought it was silly.
That's really silly.
It is. Weston Lawrence, a local legend.
All right.
Some nice alliteration.
Ooh. Are you ready to hear about Peter Woodcock?
Yes, I am ready to hear about Peter Woodcock.
All right. So it's kind of an old-timey one.
Okay, I love the olden days.
So he was born March 5th, 1939.
Oh, so we're talking like olden days.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, old people. I don't think any of you are listening to this.
I don't think any of you were born in 1939.
But if you are, I'm sorry for calling you old. You're not old, you're just...
Old.
Aged. No, they're just seasoned.
Seasoned.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was born in Peterborough, Ontario, to a 17-year-old factory worker, Weta Woodcock, who gave him up for adoption a month after he was born.
Well, she was... Well, I guess back then, as if this is like the 1800s. But back then, I guess it was normal to be 17 and have a child? Question mark?
I think so. I think it's normal to get married, be 17, and have a child, but I don't...
My grandmother was 18 when she gave birth to my uncle, and that was like not that far after 1939.
Was she married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, sorry. I just wanted to see if it was normal that he was put up for adoption
I
or
don't
not.
think that, like, I think that was an accident, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she wasn't married?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Because he took her last name.
True.
Unless she's married, that is her last name, and then he took... Nah, probably not.
Okay, whatever.
Alright, so anyways, as an infant, he would go through many foster homes, unable to bond with any of his foster parents. After his first birthday, he would be terrified of anybody approaching him, and his speech was incoherent, and he was described to sound like strange whining animal noises.
Is that what it said?
Yeah, that's what it said.
That's really silly.
That's what it said.
Well, he's only just after 1.
I know.
Like, relax, guys. I probably also sounded like a strange animal whining noise when I was just after 1.
Anyways, he was abused by at least one of the early foster families because as a 2-year-old, he would be given medical treatment for an injured neck after a beating. Finally, at age 3, he was placed in a stable home to Frank and Susan Maynard, an upper middle class family with another son.
Okay.
Yeah. So Susan had a strong attachment to Peter, who would still scream when someone came near him, but they had a close bond.
Okay, so he was finally warming up to someone, yes. I guess.
So, at age 5, he would no longer scream, but was described as a strange child and was often the target of a lot of bullying.
This is always how it begins.
Mm-hmm. Because of this, his parents were worried for his emotional state, so they would often bring him to the hospital for sick children, where he received an extensive treatment. He was also sent to a private school, but was still unable to make any friends or successfully interact with anyone, so he stayed isolated.
This is how it begins.
By age 11, he was described as an angry little boy. Children's Aid Society, which is Child Protective Services, they did a report on him, and it said that, quote, Peter has little capacity for self-control. Although he verbalizes his resentment for other children, he has never been known to physically attack another child, end quote.
It's kind of weird because whenever you talk about, like, they were bullied younger, their parents died, like Bruce McArthur, you know how you're like, his parents died, or like, this guy's all bullied. I want to be like, aw, but I know he's going to be something bad. This is what the podcast is about. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is sad. No, it's not. He's going to kill people or something. I know
you can feel sad for him in that time.
I do feel sad for him in that time. I don't feel sad for him now.
No.
I don't even know what he's done yet, but I know I'm not going to feel sad for him.
Yeah. It also mentions how he can occasionally play with younger children, but when it came to kids his own age, he is, quote, boastful and expresses determinedly ideas which are unacceptable and misunderstood, end quote. One time, a social worker was walking with him at the Canadian National Exhibition.
Let's go to the X. Oh,
baby. And Peter said, quote, I wish a bomb would fall on the exhibition and kill all the children.
Sorry, how old is he?
End quote. I don't know. It just says one time. But I think he's like early teen.
Okay, and kill all the children?
Yeah, so I think he's like 11 or 12 here.
Wow, that is...
Or sorry, preteen. Yeah.
That is concerning.
Yes.
Yep.
So, after that, he was sent to a school for emotionally disturbed children in Kingston.
Good call.
Yeah. And began acting on his strong sexual urges with other children.
Oh, no. Here it goes.
He claimed that he had consensual sex with a 12-year-old girl when he was 13.
I didn't even know what a male was when I was 12.
Yeah.
And these kids are 12 and 13 and are, okay.
But
sick.
Have you seen Teen Mom before?
I have seen Teen Mom, but like...
Sometimes they're 13 or 14.
No way.
Yeah. It's really sad.
I've never seen that. I've seen like 16 and pregnant, but I've never seen a 13 or 14-year-old mother. That's crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes they have YouTube channels too.
Yeah, I watched Sierra Watts. Sorry, she was 16 and pregnant. Now she just had her second child. Okay, I'm done.
All right. When he was 15, he was discharged from the school and was sent back to live with his foster parents and re-enroll into the private school where he continued to fail at connecting with his peers. When he was 16, they sent him to public high school where he was subjected to bullying again. So they sent him back to the private school 6 weeks later.
Okay.
So teachers remembered him as a bright kid who excelled in science, history, and English and would frequently get hundreds on his tests.
Huh.
All right.
So now he's smart and scary. This is not going well.
I mean, that's how they all start.
Yes, but hundreds? This man is smart.
True. So, now onto the crimes.
Oh no.
Peter, his most prized possession was his bike, and he would ride it to the far reaches of Toronto.
Wait, does he still live in Peterborough?
No, he lives in Toronto.
Okay, he moved.
I don't know when.
Okay, but he did move.
Yes.
So he's not biking from Peterborough to Toronto.
No.
Okay,
He's
sick.
in Toronto.
That would be a really long bike.
I mean, I think he would do it because he really liked biking everywhere.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he also had this fantasy where he would lead a gang of 500 invisible boys on bikes, and he called them the Winchester Heights Gang.
Okay, I just really need to appreciate the fact that he named his fake gang. He imagined a gang, and not only did he imagine them, he also gave them a name, and I love that.
But don't you...
Hate him, love that.
Wouldn't you give names to your imaginary friends?
I never had any imaginary friends, ever.
Yeah, me neither, but
So,
I
like,
imagine
I
that
don't
you would.
I imagine that if I did imagine someone, I would name them.
Mm-hmm. So his parents knew about this fantasy and the fact that he liked to wander. They knew about that, and they let him go off on long bike rides.
Nice.
All right, so on September 15, 1956, so Peter's 17, he was riding his bike around the exhibition place when he met 7-year-old Wayne Mallet. He lured him out of sight and strangled him to death.
Oh, that was so fast. He just did that.
I know. His body was found the next day, and it appeared as though his clothes had been removed and then put back on.
Uh-oh.
His face was pushed into the dirt, and there was a bite mark on his calf and his butt.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. There wasn't evidence of rape, but there were pennies scattered near the body.
Pennies?
Yes.
Just pennies?
Yes.
Okay.
He also took a dump next to the body.
Wow. Way to leave your DNA on the scene. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Like...
But it's 1956.
That is true. It is 1956. I often forget that.
Yeah. So then the Toronto police arrested and interrogated another boy.
Uh-oh.
Because it's 1956. So they arrested Ron Moffat, despite the fact that there were witnesses who had seen him at the theaters before and after the murder.
So he had an alibi and they were still like, this guy did it.
Yes.
Jeez.
Because after they interrogated him for hours, they got a confession out of the 14-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad when
Yeah.
interrogation goes not the way you want interrogation to go.
Well, I mean, when you put someone in a room for hours, you can probably get them to say a lot of things that aren't true because they just want to get out.
Yeah, there was just a BuzzFeed Unsolved case like this. Anyways, keep going.
Mm-hmm. And he was found guilty and sentenced to youth detention. Moving on October 8th, 1956, Peter was riding his bike around Cabbagetown when he picked up 9-year-old Gary Morris. He took him to Cherry Beach where he strangled and beat him to death.
That's far.
Yeah.
He went from Cabbagetown to... He took the guy from Cabbagetown to
Yes.
Cherry Beach, and all he had was a bike.
Yep.
And nobody noticed that he was, like, stealing a boy. That's impressive.
I mean, he could have pretended like it was his brother. He probably seemed very friendly in the beginning.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I don't think... He didn't kidnap them, I don't think. I think
he befriended them?
Yeah,
and was
that's
like,
what...
Hey, guy, let's go to the beach.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Oof.
So, the coroner later concluded that Gary died from a ruptured liver because he beat him to death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, there were bite marks on his throat, and instead of pennies, there were paper clips scattered near the body.
Small metal objects. I don't like it.
And it appears as though his clothes had been taken off and put back on. Also.
So, some of the same traits. Small metal objects, clothes off, bite marks.
Yep. On January 19th, 1957, Peter was again riding his bike when he saw 4-year-old Carol Voice and offered her a ride.
4 is so young.
I know. This is the worst one, by the way. So brace yourself.
No.
He took her to Bloor Viaduct?
The Bloor Viaduct?
Viaduct. And murdered her. So when she was found, her clothes were pulled off and it appeared as though she was choked into unconsciousness and then sexually molested.
Oh, she's 4.
But the cause of her death would be a tree branch that was forcibly inserted into her vagina. I told you this is the worst one.
Oh no. I was gonna make... Okay, this is a really bad time to make a pun. I'm not gonna do it. But I guess you could say he was branching out in his crimes.
No.
He did not treat her well.
No.
Sorry, I'll leave it alone.
Okay. So he was caught for this one because there were witnesses that saw him riding away from the crime scene, And an extremely accurate composite sketch was created.
That's, yes. That's such a... Composite sketches, such an impressive thing.
But I feel like they get it wrong a lot of the times.
But, like, also, whoever is describing... Okay, here's how I look at it. If I saw a crime happen, and I saw the person for, like, 5 seconds, there's no way I'm going to a person and be like, his nose was definitely a 28-degree angle upward, and his cheekbones were higher than that. Like, I'm not that good. So when there are accurate composite sketches, it's so impressive, because that means somebody who just saw it happen for, like, 5 seconds was able to be like, no, higher cheekbones, lower eyebrows. Like, what? How?
But I mean, like, when you see the picture later on after the artist is done, you could be like, this is shit. This does not look like the person.
But I think I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But if I were to look at a picture and be like, what could you change about this picture to make it more look like the person that you're trying to make it look like? I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to be like, oh, it's the lips that are off. Like, you know when people are like, oh, you have your mother's eyes. I can never identify that stuff. I'm like, no, you have your own eyes. Like, I don't get it.
I feel like I could because I draw people.
That's true.
But also, I can't because I don't look at strangers. Like, I try my best to not look at anybody ever. Like, if I'm on the bus and I'm sitting next to a person, I could not tell you what they look like.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, like, when people are related, I can see that they're related, but I can't see what about them makes them look related.
Yeah, I saw the sketch. It was really, really good.
Huh. So we'll link that in the bio.
Yes. They showed this sketch on the front page of the Toronto Star, and Peter was arrested on January 21st, 1957. He confessed to all 3 murders, and when he recalled his arrest, he said, quote, "My fear was that Mother would find out. Mother was my biggest fear. I didn't know the police would let her at me," end quote. Remember they had that really close relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just, like...
really weird.
Yeah.
Also, forgot to mention, in that report from the Children's Aid, it also said that they had, like, an unusually close bond.
Okay, so he was total mama's boy to a larger extent.
Mm-hmm. However, he was only tried for the murder of Carol Voice, and on April 11th, 1957, after a 4-day trial, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was sent to the Oak Ridge Division of the Maximum Security in Penetanguishene, Ontario.
That is a mouthful.
That is a tongue twister.
Say Penetanguishene 10 times fast.
Penetanguishene. Penetanguishene. Oh,
good enough.
That's pretty good. There he was diagnosed as a psychopath and underwent various forms of psychiatric treatment. But none of that worked. In fact, Peter has said, like afterwards, that the treatments had only served to make him more adept at manipulating others.
The classic case of if you tell a psychopath what they're doing is wrong, they will use that and then correct their ways to make them look not like a psychopath. And it's a rabbit hole that goes so deep.
Yes, it really is. He formed an imaginary gang there. Again,
another one?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The Brotherhood. And he would convince other inmates that were often less intelligent or less sane than he was that he had contact with mythical groups on the outside, and the only way to be initiated was to perform oral sex on him and to bring him cigarettes.
That's like...
That's so
evil. Silly.
It's so evil.
He's like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, but it's also like, I know mythical creatures blow me. Like, oh, that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it is. That's awful. But you were right about how he used those things to make him seem okay, because he was then transferred to a less restrictive institution at Brockville Psychiatric Hospital.
Okay.
Because he was, like, on good behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Where he changes his name to David Michael Kruger and claimed to have fallen in love with a fellow psychiatric patient, Dennis Kerr, who rejected his sexual advances. After that, Peter had developed a relationship with another person, Bruce Hamill. I don't know what the nature of this relationship is, but they just had one. Who's an Ottawa killer who had been released from Oak Ridge and was now working as a security guard at the Ottawa courthouse. So Peter convinced him that the Alien Brotherhood would solve his problems if he helped kill Dennis Kerr, the guy that didn't reciprocate his feelings. Yeah. So on July 13, 1991, Bruce goes to a hardware store and buys a plumber's wrench, hatchet, knives, and a sleeping bag. When he goes back to Brockville Hospital, he signs out Peter for his first public escorted day pass.
Okay. Can I say one thing? I'm going back to the whole, if you're working somewhere and you see someone purchase sketchy objects, like, that if you are an employee at, like, a hardware store or something like that, and somebody's buying, like, knives and then also a sleeping bag, like, maybe just, like, take a mental note of that person, put the receipt somewhere aside,
tell someone,
put a tag on it, be like, sketchy, I don't know. I just feel like if I worked at one of those places and someone was buying, like, if someone's buying just knives, okay, whatever. If someone's buying just a sleeping bag, okay, whatever. If someone's buying, like bins, knives, hammers, like, acid, like, I'm
duct tape,
gonna,
ski mask.
like, I'm gonna leave a note.
Kind of sketchy. So on this unsupervised weekend visit, Peter arranged to meet Dennis in the woods near Brockville, where Peter would loan Dennis $500. That was how he got Dennis to show up. So when Dennis arrived, Peter struck him in the head with the pipe wrench and continued to beat him unconscious. Then Peter and Bruce used the hatchet and knife, where they hid in a bush, to hack and stab Dennis to death.
Oof.
They mutilated his body and almost beheaded him. Then
gross.
after they were all covered in blood, they stripped themselves naked and sodomized the body.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. You can tell that this is 1956 because they're killing him with a wrench. And that's such, like, a, Clue, the board game. Such, like, a Clue thing. It's like, nobody kills people with wrenches anymore. Actually, that's a lie. People definitely do, but I'm saying, like, that's such a 1956 thing. Like, go buy the wrench. We're committing murder.
Why not hammer?
Right? Or, like, you have knives on you, but you're using the wrench. I don't know. It was Peter Woodcock in the forest with the wrench.
So Peter then left the scene and turned himself into the police station that was about 2 miles away. After that, they were both sent back to Oak Ridge, and then Peter would proceed to spend the rest of his life there, and he would do interviews for biographies and documentaries about why he killed, though he never came up with a rational reason. And finally, he eventually dies March 5th, 2010, on his 71st birthday of natural causes.
I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer, and if you don't, that's fine, but I just want to know.
What?
How did they find out that those other crimes were him, like the first two?
He confessed.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes. Like, after he got caught for the third one, he confessed to all 3 of them.
Okay. Wow, poor first guy that got blamed for that. Ron, was that his name? Poor Ron.
I don't think it's Ron.
Okay, well, I tried.
It was Ron.
It was Ron?
Yeah, it was Ron.
Poor Ron!
I'm so bad at remembering names.
Ron really just got blamed for murder.
Yeah.
And convicted.
As a 14-year-old.
Ron, I'm so sorry, my guy. I know you're probably dead, but that sucks.
I mean, he could still be alive.
What year was that?
He was 14.
It was like 1950-ish, right?
Oh, okay. It was 1956.
Oh, okay.
And he was 14 in 1956.
Okay, 87. Okay, Braun, if you're still living, I hope your record is clean now.
Hope you're doing fine.
Hope you're doing fine. Peter Woodcock, what a horrible, horrible man.
Yes.
Like, he would kill young kids.
Yeah.
And then...
When he was 17, that's so evil.
That's so evil. Well, I mean, man said, let's drop a bomb on the CNE when he was 12. So, I mean...
Yeah. Who says that? That's crazy.
Serial killers say that.
Yeah. I don't know. What else could they have done to help him? They sent him to sick kids. They sent him to that school for emotionally disturbed children. Like, nothing was getting through to him.
Honestly, that raises such, like, a big question of, like, what can you do if you know that something's off, but they haven't committed any crimes? Like, you can't hold them
You can't
hostage.
do anything about it. A lot of the time, serial killers are untreated for their mental illness.
And, unfortunately, that's, like, the reality of it, because you can't lock up somebody just because they have a mental illness, obviously. That's horrible. Obviously, not every psychopath, not every sociopath is going to become a serial killer. It's just that's not how it works. Yeah,
it's just really scary, because it's like, what more could they have done?
And that sucks. It
really does.
I mean, well, maybe they should have not used interrogation as a way to convict someone, but...
Yeah, probably not, but it was also 1956.
And at the same time, police are just trying to do their job and get bad people off the streets, and if they think they have someone, obviously they're going to try to get a confession.
Yeah. Despite witnesses, though.
Yeah, but I still respect police. Obviously. We both do. But I mean, that sucks. Mm-hmm. Okay, usual disclaimer... which I did forget last time. That's what I was talking about in the beginning.
Oh.
Okay. I forgot our usual disclaimer last time, but it applies to all the times. We don't mean to offend anybody. We are trying to just do our best to tell the truth about these stories and be as respectful as possible. We don't mean to make fun of anybody except serial killers because they're the worst and deserve to be made fun of and deserve the worst. But yeah, we're just trying to keep it lighthearted, keep you informed, and keep you safe somehow. I don't know. Let's give a tip. What tip could we give to people this week?
If you're below the age of 10, you shouldn't hang out with teenagers that offer you to take you places.
That's a good yes. But I really hope nobody below the age of 10 is listening to this.
Yeah.
Like, so much.
Honestly, yeah, don't take rides from strangers.
Yeah. That's the tip of the week. That is like lightly related to the case. Don't take rides from strangers. Don't hitchhike. Just don't do it.
Yes.
I know people that have hitchhiked recently.
Really?
Yes.
That's illegal.
Hitchhiking's illegal?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But 2 of my friends.
Wait,
recently.
I don't know if hitchhiking is illegal or if it's picking up someone hitchhiking.
Well, I mean,
it's one of them.
They're both kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah, some people recently I know hitchhiked. No. And also last year when I was driving back from Toronto,
someone was hitchhiking
on the DVP. There was hitchhikers on the DVP.
Whoa. And
like, there's no sidewalk. Obviously, it's a big, huge highway, the Don Valley Parkway, and there was people on the side trying to hitchhike with like big suitcases. Like they were like hitchhikers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they were clearly trying to get across Canada or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not safe. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Well, thank you all for listening, and please keep listening. Subscribe.
So remember, if your friend has named their fake gang, probably don't be friends with them anymore.
And if you have a plan to steal gold, take it and shove it up your butt. Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace out.